everybody. Welcome to the Genre of Your Life podcast, a show all about movies, TV, and the entertainment that defines us. I am one of your hosts, Doug Jones. With me, as always, are three of the best co-hosts and three of my closest friends. Starting off with Mr. Nick Johnson. How are you today, my good sir?
Man, I'm doing good as always. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here with my boys. Happy to be here in the first episode of this brand new month.
Excellent.
I want to thank you again for a fun screening experience on Tuesday. You make these things way better for me. So as always,
bro,
thank you, my good sir.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. It's always a pleasure.
We didn't get yelled at this time to go back the line, which was very nice.
Yeah, they finally recognized us, man. They finally recognized what we was, bro. It was nice.
I was so nervous too. I was like, "Oh man, they're gonna like say back the line again." But we were like,
"No." I was like, "Let him say something. Let him say something. Give me a reason. Give me an excuse, real quick. I've been waiting all day for this. Try me.
The power of Christ compels you."
I'm like, I heard about you. Try me. I came here prepared. I came here ready today. I woke up and chose violence, player. Yeah.
Oh man.
Luckily, it didn't come to that.
Not this time. Also, coming back from the show, you love him. He's back. Is Mr. Joel Kindlen. How are you today, my good sir?
I'm good, man. Just existing, you know?
Yes, sir. We missed you last week, man. It was glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
And last but not least, he's back off of his great world premiere of his amazing movie, As the Day Goes By. Filmmaker and LA resident is Mr. Moses Lai. Welcome back to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. It's been a crazy few days and everything like that, but I'm glad to be here. And hope you enjoy the show. Yeah.
Glad you're back, my friend. Glad you made it back to LA too. We'll bring it on the show a little bit too, but man, it was good seeing you last night. I can't wait for everyone to hear about how amazing your short film was, man, because it was something very, very special.
Thank you. It was great seeing you there too as well, man. It was a blast and everything, the more faces you recognize, the better the outcome overall, so I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. Wouldn't miss it for the world. And last but not least, you all are here too. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Hope you're enjoying the show. As always, guys, you can find the show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, or your favorite podcast platform of choice. We also have a full audio show on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Midway Avenue Productions. While you're on YouTube or Spotify or Apple, hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot to us, as well as leaving a review and rating. The more reviews, the more rings that we get more traction for the show, which is really good. Again, we had a great summer, like I said, with 10K subscribers. Thanks to you all. We want to keep building the show. We want to keep building the brand. We want to keep spreading the word about this show to everyone. So whenever you leave a review and rating helps us out so much. So as always, guys, thank you so much for your support. But before getting into main topics tonight, like I said, Moses last night, man. So last night he had his world premiere at our alma mater at ASU. And Joe, you're an honorary Sun Devil too, because whenever you came to visit, you partied like us too. So you are an honorary Sun Devil. So the day you die.
Yes, indeed.
So the day you die, my friend. You and Sebastian, but because you had more trips out to see us. But it was cool. I mean, again, Moses, man. So last night you had your follow-up to your premiere to your follow-up of your last movie, Golds. Tell us the audience what this movie was about, and how did it feel to be back at your alma mater? Where our careers kind of all began. What was that kind of experience for you to come home and to premiere this movie?
Yeah, man, it was great. Coming in, everything like that. Seeing the whole space. Kind of felt a little bit nostalgic in a way. I haven't been, I'm not too often. I'm in the zone all the time and everything. And when I do, it feels, a little bit, nostalgic, especially when you got folks that there, and you got people you got friends there and everything that come to, that come to the premiere and everything. And it was, it was great. It was definitely a blast. It was great seeing Doug there and everything, with huge smile, like always. But yeah, it was definitely great. The whole entire film took me a while to sort of like make, because the idea was fresh in my mind, like all the way back in like 2017 as I think sophomore, freshman, and everything. But I never really, got it really, really completed until 2020. Sorry, until like 2020, 2022 and everything like that. And Doug actually was a person that I will go to, to give me notes on it, here and there and everything. And yeah, the whole story is about, like, second chances. Mostly it's about, life after incarceration. And the idea of it was to, let a viewer, or give a viewer an experience to how hard it is for people that come out of jail and everything like that, that really are trying their best, to make their life a little bit better, and trying to, get that second chance. And that's mainly it. That's what the story's about. The whole theme of it is, of the film is mainly about, like, it's not about, like, who you were. It's not about who you are now, but who you're trying to be. And that's what Shay, the main character of the story, who we follow, is trying to be. Is trying to be a person that she can see, that she can see, herself as, tomorrow, the next day after that. So, and yeah. So, yeah, it's mainly it.
It was cool. Like I said, man, I really do remember reading this script during COVID when we were all kind of going through some shit and the world was locked down. I remember you coming to me when it was called Shay, actually, believe it or not. And I remember you said, "Hey, you know what? I remember this to me. You're like, oh, I remember seeing El Royale with you guys in college. I remember that kind of like a spark, the kind of like the track of you to kind of write this story, which again, the movie is very, slept on to this day. But I always remember you saying that. I was like, huh, that's a great movie to take inspiration from, because that spoils that movie. It's really about, you're right, it's about different personalities, different people coming, like, it's all about where you are, the timing, like,
Yeah,
I won't spoil your movie either, but it's about when you sometimes when you're at a certain place, things happen, and it's how you react to the situation, how you react to your situation, how you react to like the things around you. So I
yeah,
always remember that always stuck with me when you pitched me this movie. I was like, oh, interesting. And I remember reading the script. I was like, oh yeah, I definitely see this.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
yeah, and even watching the movie, man, it was. And I'm gonna shout out Moses real quick. It was so cool seeing Moses kind of like in his chair, just kind of like nervous, looking at the screen. Like, are people liking it? And I'm a very observer person in a theater, like what the vibe is basically. And it was it was definitely cool. Like looking around, people were kind of like people were like glued to the screen, and I love that, because you can tell in movies where people are kind of like checked out, like, or like, I'm not into this anymore. But it was really cool as a collective being in that room. Just people were just kind of like really glued to that screen when you were your story was being brought to life. But yeah, man. So I know last night at the Q&A you were saying that you wanted to maybe do this as a feature. I know you're working on Gold as a feature as well. I also put Golds. You can, for our listeners, you watch Golds. I have the link to watch that in our description if you're curious. It's a really great short film. It's right next to Nick's short film as well. It's in our link tree in our bio on our Instagram. So when do you think the mass audience will be able to see this movie? This year, next year?
In terms of, are you implying for like the feature film, or?
Oh no, this actual short film. Are you gonna release it to the public? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the whole process right now and everything like that. For the premiere was mainly about my crew and my cast, and people that put a penny into donating the film to basically be able to check it out and see what came about. Just to see the final picture of the film and everything. And then, thinking about a month from now, of course, it's going to go into festivals and everything like that, and do its festival run, and hopefully, get into some really, really good competitions, and and see if people gravitate towards it, and everything. That's my whole entire sort of like a goal for this film: gravitate towards the story, gravitate towards me as a filmmaker, and the people that were involved, and everything, and and that's mostly it. If they decide, that they want, if somebody comes to me and it's like, hey, we want a feature film and everything, I will be like, well, what are you offering? And they're like, well, I'm offering you, a second chance. And I'm like, no, I'm kidding. No, that's no, no, I'm kidding. But, if they're like, I'm offering you an opportunity for, for an actual, like, feature film and everything like that. If you got the script ready, I will say I got the script ready and it will be ready by tomorrow, and, but yeah, that's mainly it, Golds won't exactly be seen in terms of like, people watching it until, as the day goes by, won't exactly be seen. That's the title of the film and everything like that. The short film won't exactly be seen until it's run after the festival, and then it's going to end up on Amazon Prime, for a bit, and everything, and then share it to the rest of the world, via free on Vimeo after a little bit of its run on Prime. So yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I really can't wait for people to see this movie. Like I said, I just remember even during COVID when they had the ASU senior showcase, and it was like, man, I was so proud of you. I remember my parents were watching it. We were outside on the balcony watching it, and to me, I was like, damn, you know what? I still wish they could have showed this movie on the big screen, because for some context, at our alma mater at ASU, they would show the senior showcase movies would be at the small Harkins off of Mill Avenue. But because of COVID, it was all done Zoom, unfortunately. So it was still a cool experience, but it wasn't the same. Last time after the movie, I was saying, wow, I'm really glad you got to have a quote unquote second chance of like showing a movie at our alma mater, because it was like, damn, because COVID kind of took that away from you to a degree. Yes, we had the showcase on Zoom, but to me, I was like, man, I thought it was very cathartic to see your movie where it all began, where our careers began at ASU. So I was kind of like, I'm really glad that ASU was like, you got a place here. I'm glad they were like very accommodating to you and Gabe's movie too.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah, no, I'm really appreciative of them and everything like that. Till this day, they still, I don't want to part of me is like, they're better, because it's like they show Golds, as like, to their capstone class and everything like that, as like a reference to the films that, are made, as being a capstone student or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but overall, I'm just really, really appreciating. I'm very, humbled to be able to show it, and everything like that. And, we'll see what happens on the festival run and everything, Sundance, here we come. No, I'm just kidding, but we'll see.
You never know, man. You want manifest it, man. I truly believe in manifestation, and I feel like I've seen the past year things I manifested for that actually came to fruition. I'm like, oh, it does work. But I really, really believe that when people see this movie, it's something really special. I think something that's really personal to you. And Sundance. Fuck it. Let's say Cannes. Let's say Cannes Film Festival. Let's say TIFF. Let's say Venice. I really truly feel like once people see this movie, they're gonna be like, oh, this is something very special. This is something very like personal. And too, again, it's bro. As Nick and I are still in Phoenix. When we all kind of started bonding in Phoenix. It's really cool to see you kind of like shoot your movie in home, which is South Phoenix still. and kind of puts that on the map.
That's mainly one of the thing. This is gonna be fast, but like one of my goals, overall, is to continue doing that. Whatever chance I get in terms of filming in Arizona, I go back in Arizona, and I drive in Arizona, and I see like just like the landscape of it, and how like open it is, and I like that kind of feeling. I like a feeling where you see like you see a space where it's like really really open, and you can imagine like some kid like running down like this crazy like field or whatever it is in a movie. And like Arizona gives me a very sort of like open sort of like a world kind of vibe, a little bit, in my own sort of like perspective. I love being here in LA and everything like that, but just Arizona just gives me a very like different like vibe that I like to sort of like feature in my films. Now whenever I have the opportunity to do so. And and it's mainly it. Just the landscape of it all and everything like that. You don't see a lot of cars everywhere, and everything like that. It's just like, it's just you can see like the sun from like from miles away. Once it sets and everything. That's the one thing I like about Arizona.
Yeah. It's very cinematic. It's very cinematic.
Yeah,
and we need to get Joel out here too, right, Joe? Ain't a little hot for you?
Yes.
That's a little hot for you. I know it's a little.
Just with an umbrella and a mobile AC. Yeah.
we need able to kind of like portable pools to have him like nearby, just for him and whenever our Midwestern friends come on. Just I need like a portable, a mobile AC and a portable pool for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Arizona in the wintertime.
Perfect.
It's the fall. It's like it's good. Like if you have, like I think those are the times for me and everything like that. Like when it comes down to filming, when you film in Arizona, it's like the fall and the fall and wintertime, because that's when like the weather is nice, outside, inside, and and it's just really 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 good. But yeah, that's it. Shout out to Arizona.
Shout out to AZ. Well, again, man, I can't wait for people to see this movie. I can't wait the festivals to just like accept this movie into all the festivals, man. Like I said, we're really proud of you, and I really again hope this. I know this movie's gonna go really far, and I'm really glad that you were able to premiere it last night. And again, it's very something special. So you should be very proud of yourself, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Of course, man. All right, shifting gears a little bit this week. So, like I said, this week's movie is going to be, this review this week is going to be Universal and Blumhouse's new picture of Exorcist Believer, which is a requel, which means a reboot reboot sequel in a way of the original movie, similar to Halloween 2018, or the Halloween 2018 movie was a requel of like it ignored all the, how I would say, questionable sequels. Including Rob Zombie's movie, movies, I guess I would say, where it basically reboots everything as a sequel to the original movie. So this one as well, Believer is a sequel 50 years in the making, which again ignores all the other sequels. It's a direct sequel to the original movie in 73. And Nick and I have a chance to go to the press screening on Tuesday. Again, I think I mentioned this last episode with you, Nick. I was telling everyone that I have never seen the original before. I know, shame on me.
You gotta watch it, man. You gotta watch it. It's a classic.
I know, man.
You too, Moses. Because I know you like them horror movies, man.
Right.
That's all you right there.
I always love when I think the movie to Nick or Joe, and even before that we hopped on the call, Joe was like, "Wait, you never seen the original?" And I'm like, "Damn, I let y'all down, man. I let y'all down." But yeah, I've seen the original, nor have I been a fan of Possession or Exorcism movie, because minus maybe Conjuring, I would say. But I was looking forward to. I was somewhat looking for this one because Danny McBride, David Gordon Green, did this one as well. They did the recent Halloween trilogy for Blumhouse Universal as well. I love their comedies like Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals, Pineapple Express, Righteous Gemstones. List goes on. I'm a big fan of their work as filmmakers, as writers, as comedians. So I also do love when I see people kind of like genre bending, genre shifting from their comfortable genre to something different. I'm really always impressed by that, whether it's good or bad. But Nick, so you've seen the first and third one, like you said, and our reaction as well as our review last week, episode last week. I'm gonna have you go first. What's your kind of thoughts about this movie, Exorcist Believer? Did you like it? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I thought it was great. I was a little hesitant going in because the trailer, I was kind of like I wasn't sure if they were really going to be able to stick the landing pretty much, but I saw it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to. The story was good. The acting was really good. It was the main character played by Leslie Odom Jr. It was basically just his movie pretty much. Yeah. He carried a lot of it. But no, it was good. It was scary. It was a solid story. The ending I liked a lot. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I was like, wow, I kind of like that they took it there a little bit. But yeah, I give it probably like 8 out of 10. I had a good time with it.
Yeah, for some context to everyone, I think if you've already seen the movie or if you've seen the reviews, this movie is really getting some really unfavorable reviews from our fellow critics. And
I was surprised about that. I'm like, dang, it kind of seems like we're the only people that liked it.
I was editing our review, our reaction on Tuesday because we couldn't post it until Wednesday when the embargo lifted. And so I was like, I'm gonna wake up in the morning, edit our reaction, put it on Instagram, TikTok, everything, YouTube. I'm like, yeah, I think it's probably be in the majority. And I woke up, it was like 21% Rotten Tomatoes. I was like, I texted Nick, I'm like, did we see the same movie? Question mark. And I was like, really? So I was like, okay, and we sent our reaction too that you and I were very, very favorable of this movie. Like I said, I went in with little to no moderate expectations. I was looking for it just because of David Gordon Green, Danny McBride. And like you said too in the reaction, Nick, I love what you brought up about the sense of community, like Halloween, Halloween had, and that was a very good point. You told me that at the screening and our reaction. I was like, oh wait, you're right. Both these movies have a sense of community, like how Halloween was very big on, like when Michael got out, they were like, wait, let's find this fucker, let's find, the whole town got involved. I love that.
Teaming up on him.
Yes, and I love that in this, it was the community was aware of what was going on too, without relying too much on the first movie, or like kind of just like, in the past, there's been extras in this town before, stuff like that. It was very big on like, oh, shit has happened, but like the community sense was really there by Danny McBride and David Gordon Green. Like I said, I went in with that, excited for that. I get me personally. I thought the direction from David Gordon Green, like I said, he did a good job of not having to have to watch the first one to understand this one. I was able to follow this one without any kind of confusion or feel lost when legacy characters came back on screen. I wasn't like, I told Nick, I'm like, that's the girl, right? You go, yeah, you're kind of confirming like that was like that person from the original, but it wasn't like, who is this person? Like I definitely knew like who was who like what the storyline basically was. I thought they did a good job of kind of like bringing everyone up to speed, or kind of just like you kind of knew the sense of what this was, what was happening. Like I said too, yeah, Leslie Odom Jr., man, god damn, this man is talented as hell. From Hamilton to Knives Out, I mean, he's a really, really talented actor and performer. I was like, wow, I'm really glad that he was hired as the lead, because this is his movie, 100%. This is his movie. This is his performance, and I loved what he did with his dynamic between his daughter. Like he really was like a father desperate to get his daughter back. He was gonna do anything basically, and I never felt that like he wasn't gonna like, oh man, whatever, it is what it is, she's lost. Like you really felt for him as a character, and you really kind of tell like the sense of dread and loss he was feeling, given situations in the movie that I won't spoil. But yeah, I really love like showing how desperate he was to do anything for her. And too, I see this a lot in movies too. Like sometimes like the child actors can be really I don't know, just like not as well casted, or they don't know what they're doing because they're child actors. But I think we've seen a change in that, like given like Stranger Things and It and a few other movies. I really thought the two girls were casted very well, and I thought the performance was really solid too. They weren't like they didn't really feel like they were kind of like like lost, or they weren't feeling like we're in this movie, look at us. They really felt like genuine performances. I was like, wow, I'm kind of impressed by like what they're able to pull off given their age. And the material itself, because when you do a demonic movie, it's like you gotta get the right people to make sure like you are like capturing the evil and possession to a T. And I thought these two girls again were casted very well, and did a great job of like the direction of David Gordon Green as well as the source material. Because again, it could have been easily been like, oh man, this was miscast as hell, but I never felt that way at all during the movie. Like I said, it was I like too is that the legacy characters didn't feel like they were shoehorned in, or they were like, we're bringing them back for this reason. Kind of again reminded me a lot of Laurie Strode, Jamie Lee Curtis in the recent Halloween trilogy, or given Harrison Ford in Blade Runner 2049, or even Courtney Cox, David Arquette, and Neve Campbell in the last few Scream movies. Like they felt the presence felt earned, and they felt like, hey, they belonged here. It wasn't like, oh, they were gonna throw them in for a cash grab. I thought they were used in the story very well. It didn't feel like, oh man, like they're here for a fucking cash grab. Never felt that way whatsoever. I thought it was really good how they integrated the legacy characters into the overall story. The score, how about you, Nick? Did the score remind you of like an OG John Carpenter movie at all?
Like a little bit. I can see what you mean, but I was because I think they took some parts from the original Exorcist movie in it.
We did.
The music, I mean.
They did. I really, again, the score could be very similar to like Halloween to a degree, but the score really kind of played its own part too. Where I feel like, I'm kind of watching like an OG like 1980s like, or even like John Carpenter kind of theme. I'm like, I'm kind of like how the direction of the music went too. The scare again. When you see a lot of like movies like The Nun or like Annabelle, whatever, a lot of those movies to me kind of felt like they're just used to like jump scare you. Like they're using the jump scares as kind of a cash gimmick. Where I was like, oh man, but again, like I said, the movie starts off, it's a immediate jump scare. Excuse me, or I thought the jump scares were used very effectively. Where again, a couple times you and I were like, shit, we jumped, and like you can feel the audience collectively jump too.
Yeah,
what I thought was kind of cool. People next to us, again, we were sitting with the other critics, but it was funny seeing like our fellow critics and like the general audience kind of like jump at the same time.
Real man, it felt like an earthquake in that movie theater.
Right, that or like followed by laughs, and I was like, again, this is why we go to the movies. This is why we see a horror movie on the big screen, because this experience you can't get at home. You still jump maybe here and there, but seeing that in a big screen with a bunch of people, it's fun to have that shared experience.
Nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
Not at all. And I thought the disturbing nature of the movie, of the environments, were very eerie and disturbing. That I thought they were used effectively too. Again, I feel like they're kind of like shoehorned in or cash grab. They really felt disturbing. They felt really eerie. Where I was kind of like on edge. I was like, ooh. I was feeling kind of just like grossed out. And I thought, hey, that worked. That in times the movies like it's kind of like a quick gimmick. But I felt they definitely worked. Love the camera work in this movie. I'm noticing a lot more cinematography and camera work in movies. Again, I mentioned to last night, Moses, in your movie too, that I'm picking up on like really cool shots. And there's one shot that you and I both saw, Nick, where it's Leslie Odom Jr. And the mom. I'm blanking on her name. The really cool shot where they're back to back. And I thought like, oh, that's really cool. And you and I both kind of caught it. We're like, oh, that was a cool shot. And I thought that it was really kind of like captured of like the two important characters that weren't the kids in this movie, and also despite the legacy characters. And I was like, I liked how David Gordon Green kind of like captured that in that one moment of like,
it was some good visual storytelling.
Yes, absolutely. I'll end the good on this, where I love the theme of choices and consequences that, in a lot of horror movies, or a lot of movies in general too, you don't see a lot of like consequences and choices, because I feel like, they're either kind of like glossed over, or they're kind of just like, oh yeah, is what it is. Like it's just like it happens, move on from it, or like, oh, everything's fine, good ending. Yep. I really like this movie died into the theme of every choice has consequences, and sometimes we're shown the horror of our own consequences that will bite us in the ass in the future or
Yes,
down the road in our life. And I was like, I'm really glad they didn't shy away from that because no spoilers. When the movie ends, I agree. You and I were like, wow, I give them prop for taking a risk on that because I easily could have been like, oh yeah, here's how it ends, yeah, yeah. But I really did like how that ended. To like, oh, okay. I felt the stakes in this movie. I felt the stakes were there. Where again, some people's actions in this movie really have consequences, and I think in life too, when you're dealing with a bunch of certain consequences and certain actions, you kind of get like, oh shit, like I shouldn't have done that, or my decision now is haunting me. It's affecting my life and how I live. And I really like that movie kind of dive into that theme of that 100%. With that said, what I had an issue with this movie, unfortunately, was besides Leslie Odom Jr., legacy characters, and the kids, a lot of the secondary characters, including the parents, the parents of Catherine, her parents in this movie, I thought they were just like didn't like to me. I was like, do you even miss your kid? Like to me, I didn't feel like they missed their kid as much as Leslie Odom Jr. did. Where I was like, okay, and I thought their performance was like kind of shallow in a way where they weren't given much to do, or they're kind of just like, it's the paycheck for us. Like the dad, especially, the dad annoyed the fuck out of me. Like he really annoyed me. Like the whole time, the moment we see him on screen, I was like, he's gonna annoy me in this movie for sure. He's 100% gonna annoy me in this movie, and he definitely did. I was like, oh come on now. I just think they weren't likable. They were very unlikable. They were very one dimensional. And I might have to give that to Dan McBride and David Gordon Green for their writing, or these actors just didn't give a fuck. They're like, cool, it's a paycheck. It's a Blumhouse movie. It is what it is. So I really thought that like they could have done more as performers, or maybe the script wasn't giving them anything. They could have expanded their roles a little bit because I didn't really feel like their dread or loss or connection to their kid at all. Again,
okay, well, let me ask you this. Go ahead. Do you think maybe instead they should have just made it only Leslie Odom Jr. and his daughter, and it's just the single dad and the daughter, and then there's no side family? You think it would have maybe like worked better like that?
I think it would have worked better to a degree. With that said, then it's kind of being the original Exorcist again, where it was just the mom and the daughter, right?
Kinda. It's
right?
Without spoiling it, like it's kind of at the very least equally someone else's story also.
Yes.
Oh, you got to see it, Doug. I can't say no more than that, man. You got to see it.
I know what you
got to see it. It's good though. I definitely recommend it.
I hear you. I'll definitely watch it after seeing this. I'll probably watch it this weekend for sure. Though I'll maybe talk about it next week on the episode. But yeah, I think it would have benefited from that because you really see Leslie Odom Jr. really like he's giving his all. But I understand why they had the two kids, the friendship thing, because two is evil than one, whatever. But maybe it was on David Gordon Green, Dave McBride. The writing wasn't as strong for those characters, which happens a lot. I felt that way in some kind of Halloween movies too. Like you felt the strong characters were definitely Laurie Strode, her granddaughter, Michael Myers, and like the Strode family to a degree. Even some of the kids I thought were definitely some like the teenagers in the first Halloween 2018 version was okay. Yeah, they were definitely written because they were like they're there to die. They're there to kind of like move the story forward. I just didn't feel that these parents were. Maybe it was casting too. Maybe they weren't casted well. Or to me, I'm just like, yeah. Just to me, when they were on screen, I was like, I don't really care about you guys. Like, no spoilers, but in that church scene, like the mom is really kind of like trying to like give something, but the dad to me, I just felt flat and felt kind of one dimensional. Where I was like, oh man, this is kind of a disappointment. But it's a good question. Maybe I think it might have been a bit better if we just on Leslie Odom Jr. because again I think he had a lot to offer. So was his daughter because I thought that those two were really giving like their all. But with that said, I thought the actress playing the nurse, their neighbor, at first I was like, oh, they're setting up to be this kind of like annoying neighbor who's gonna like is gonna like happen this later on. And I was kind of surprised. I was pleasantly surprised that they didn't go that route because I was like, oh. She's gonna stand in the way somehow, but I liked her involvement because she at first like she can be annoying as hell. My trash cans. But
yeah, I got a neighbor like that right now.
Ain't that some shit?
Dog, I'm telling
I know
you.
you're talking about too. I know who you're talking about.
Man,
I was
some
there that one
stuff
time.
happened like a couple of days ago. Man, I came home and my mail for some reason was not at my house, but just happened to be in this particular neighbor's house. And I was like, okay, it's Sunday, it's the Lord's Day. I'm gonna just peacefully ask for it back. I'm not gonna start nothing. But
As
bro, I was like, no, you did not take my mail.
as
Oh no.
as Joel and I always quote Hot Rod, also Dan McBride. I go to church every goddamn Sunday. Go run the demons out of me. which now goes full circle with him writing the Exorcist movie.
Oh yeah. Hey, it's cyclical.
It really is a little full circle.
Mm-hmm.
I'll end on
Time is a flat circle.
I'll end on this few thing too. Like I said, standard characters don't add much. I think what you noticed, where I noticed it a lot too, where I think this movie could have benefited from being a bit longer.
Yeah.
And you make a good point how you did the Flash too, where you kind of caught on like, oh wait a second, like this seemed kind of edited out, or maybe there's a longer cut that could have been showed because the movie ended. You and I were like, oh, it's only an hour 48. We were kind of in and out of there. And I thought that else too. I thought the pace was great. I thought the pace was like, oh, this is a great pace. It's moving forward. Is that not dragging too much?
Where the movie felt really short.
It felt really short. It felt really short. I think a lot of people, our fellow critics, are kind of like docking that for being too short or they weren't expanding enough. Where I think you and I can agree on that, on their criticism of like, it could have been expanded to maybe 215, 220, maybe 230 could have been pushing it a little bit. But
maybe.
I mean, do you think it could have benefited from a longer runtime overall?
Oh, most definitely. Because like you said, like some of the characters, it just felt like they were kind of not necessarily rushed, but like you said, they could have been fleshed out a little bit more. Like there was a scene you and I were talking about where it just seemed like something was implied, but then again, like they never followed through with this. So it's like, okay, like had they given this extra family, for example, like 10, 15 ish minutes, like extra of screen time, it probably would have fleshed them out more. And then they would have seemed more like equal in terms of like their roles in the story as Leslie Odom Jr.'s out, and then it wouldn't have felt like imbalanced because it really felt like it was mostly his movie, and they're kind of there and they're kind of going through something similar. Like they should have fleshed out that other family just to make it seem more equal, so it feels like it's both of their stories, and essentially, you know, like the two stories coalesce into one. And just it would be able to make it overall feel more unified and more cohesive as a narrative.
Yeah, that's you said it spot on. I couldn't have said it any better. Yeah, cohesive as a narrative. I think definitely that what the movie could have improved on for sure. But yeah, like I said, again, if you're watch this movie again, I'd say if you're interested in this movie, I would definitely go in despite the negative reviews. I mean, again, we're probably one of the few reviews. Few of the critics, probably one of the few critics that enjoyed this movie for what it was.
Yes, indeed. For we are the glimmer of light in the gloom.
Fuck it. Well said, brother. Well fucking said.
Thank you.
I'm giving this also an 8.5 out of 10 too. Like I said, I really don't understand all the hate it's getting. What I will say though, I told you this at the screening too on Tuesday, Nick, was when the outlet Collider was interviewing David Gordon Green, Jason Blum. Jason Blum is, the CEO and producer of Blumhouse Pictures. The Collider interviewer was saying, hey, he loved it too. He was like, will you be directing the other two movies? And he was about to speak, and Jason Blum literally stepped in and said, we'll see. We'll see. And I said, ooh, that's kind of awkward because you saw David Gordon Green about to speak and say something. Jason Blum like quickly cut in and said, we'll see, because for Inside Baseball, because Inside Baseball, the Halloween movies definitely dropped in quality with each one. Again, I still like them for what they were. I love the first one so much, and the first one was a critical success and a huge box office. It made so much money, and the last two made money too. Don't get me wrong; it's a very commercially successful franchise. But you can tell the criticism we were getting bigger and stronger with each movie as they went on. So I think Jason Blum was kind of like, you know what? I think this might be a one done. If this movie does not do well, because remember, also Universal spent $500 million to acquire the rights to these movies.
Damn. Half a bill?
Half a bill, half a
Damn.
billion dollars for these movies. They wanted 3 sequels, and Blumhouse got them, and Universal gave it to Blumhouse, where they spent $500 million on the IP rights to this movie. And I'm telling you right now, guys, I think it's you, Nick. If this movie does not do well box office wise this weekend, we either can get a new director, new writers on board. Sorry, David Gordon Green. Sorry, Dan McBride. I love you guys. But it would not surprise me if they go, hey guys, thanks, bro, we'll take it from here. And Blum finds new writers and directors.
Okay, so another question. Yeah. Who would you get to direct an Exorcist movie?
I told you this on the parking lot on the way out of the screening. I think Jordan Peele could do this very well.
Okay.
I think Jordan Peele could work very well in this franchise. He's boys with Jason Blum, obviously. Blumhouse produced Us and Get Out. His award-winning film, Get Out. I think Jordan Peele could really do something cool. I respect that he wants to do something more like original. But remember, he also did Candyman. So I really do feel, he produced and wrote Candyman. So I really could feel like he could definitely do something really cool with this franchise. Because again, if you see Key and Peele too, there's a lot of Exorcist kind of skits or inspired kind of skits. And
a lot of scary shit.
I would love to see Jordan Peele do this. Who would you have to do one of the sequels if they don't return?
I would, and hear me out on this. This is kind of out there. I would get either Ari Aster or Robert Eggers.
Interesting. Okay.
I feel like that would like, I don't know how that would work, because like they work better with A24, but like, let's say I'm kind of imagining like an A24 Exorcist movie directed by either of the two, and I'm like, dang, I feel like that would be insanely scary, man. That would be incomprehensibly scary.
I would back you up. I would definitely back you up with Robert Eggers. I think I fuck with The Lighthouse a lot. I still haven't seen The Witch, which I will. So definitely will. I need to watch The Witch.
Oh yeah, The Witch is pretty good. The Lighthouse though, yeah, that's a good one.
Lighthouse is really trippy. Yeah, that movie is like kind of like shot like a 1920s movie. Very, very done well to the T of like cinematography.
That's the movie that sold me on Robert Pattinson as Batman. You know, it'd be interesting. Robert Pattinson as Batman with Willem Dafoe as Alfred. That would be some wild shit.
I could see that too. Or an older Joker. I could see that was
directed by Robert Eggers.
I could see that too. I'm kind of on the Ari Aster kind of like, I'm good for now after seeing Beau is Afraid, because I'm really kind of like 3 hours of my time.
I still got to see that.
3 hours of my time. Like I said, I've never seen Zeta like react to a movie that way, because so that movie ends, she goes, "We're fucking leaving," and that girl bolted out of our IMAX theater.
Damn.
So Ari Aster to me, I could see that, just given his track record of stuff. I can definitely see that. I think Robert Eggers would be a better choice if given that, but I would really love to see him do it, or Jordan. I think Jordan Peele gave it the Candyman treatment to a degree. I really think that he could do something really special with this genre, given that he's a fan of the franchise and he works well with Blumhouse. They could do something really special together. And I really think that he would really kind of like him and Leslie Odom Jr. and the original actors from Exorcist work very well together. And personally, I think that, again, him being a fan of the franchise, Ellen Burstyn and Leslie Odom Jr. work really well together in this movie, but I think they would work really well with Jordan Peele too. So I don't know. I'm really curious to see the box office this weekend. I'm hoping good things. But I'm telling you, if this movie loses or does not hit the mark they wanted, I'm telling you, we're not going to see Dan McBride or David Gordon Green next to another horror movie for a long time. I truly, truly, truly feel that in my bones.
Damn.
I could be wrong. But yeah, guys, check it out. Again, don't let other critics or us kind of decide what we want to see. I think you just go in blind. If you go in with your own expectations, if you like it, great. If you don't like it, hey, it's a film. It's all film is subjective. At the end of the day. But we look forward to seeing what you all think.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so moving moving on from that, I want to get the boys back in here. Everyone back in. I want to talk about okay, so what I mentioned in our group chat today before the show started, I was saying, hey, you know what? Well, first I'm going to talk about the genre. Is there a sequel? No, sorry. Is there a franchise that you think could really use a reboot? Again, I know we're already pro theatrical, but pro original storytelling, obviously. But is there a franchise or a movie that you could definitely think like, oh, this movie for sure needs like a requel or a reboot? Not a remake, not a remake at all. I'm talking like more like a reboot slash kind of requel to kind of rejuvenize the franchise. I'll start with you, Joe. What is there a movie or a franchise that you kind of like? Man, this franchise definitely needs like some life that can bring it back.
Man, that's hard.
No, it's tough. It's a tough question.
Alien.
Ah,
Because here's the thing, like for me, I feel like, when we think of aliens, everyone's always their favorite alien movies are always going to be like you said, the originals, the first ones that came and not the newer ones. And I felt like they tried going big with the newer ones, but they just fell short.
yeah.
I think we need to have, I think the problem with Aliens is that, with the franchise nowadays, it's that, one, it's futuristic, we're in space and all that, which is understandable. We had we did, no, they were in the future in the previous Aliens. Not that. I think what it is that it loses its survival, like survivor flight, like we know what the aliens are capable of. We know that they're very intelligent and they're trying to take over, but I feel like we haven't explored enough, human reaction to it. I guess you could say the human reaction to, these aliens trying to fucking kill us, to fucking reproduce. And I feel like, we lose the horror factor. Alien, growing up was scary as shit. This motherfucker with a tongue mouth just trying to fucking kill and impregnate you.
Ugh.
Like we have that. We know that. But I feel like they with modern movies, as I'm trying to say, is that we know all these factors. Let's just put it in a different movie. You know what I mean? Like Jurassic Park. Dinosaurs in a park. All right, let's do it again. Like let's expand on this. Let's make it more surreal, more gritty, more dark, and let's add something a little new, nothing too crazy new, but a little new to where like, holy shit, like this movie's fucking dope. Like, oh my god, and make it more, you don't need to bring the old actors to the new one, but more something canonical from the original movies, something that the original movies did, fighting for survival, and, just how truly dominating these creatures are. I think Aliens is a good movie, and I love the Alien series franchise. Not all movies, obviously, but I do love it. I grew up on it. I grew up on Predator, grew up on Alien versus Predator. And the last Predator movie did pretty well, and I really liked it. But the one before that fell way flat. But like with what they did with the Predator, they took what they knew, but they showed us something a little different. You know what I mean? They changed it up instead of just being like, it's another Predator movie. Like, it's a fucking Predator movie, and it's in its own league, I guess you could say. Not in a different league, but its own. It made its own path to keep going forward. So I think that's what Alien really needs to do, is just find something to make it new and refreshing and thrilling again to see aliens. So yeah, aliens.
When you said that, all I can think of is like they should just go back to basics. Like not like you said, not like flashy or too much CGI. Make another alien movie where it's simple. Kind of like how you said how the recent Predator movie, Prey, on
Yeah.
Hulu was. Keep it simple, keep it a tight script. Keep it a tight script. I do feel like the franchise kind of fell off with kind of introducing too much with like was it the engineers, Nick, right? And the architects, whatever they were called.
Yeah.
And Prometheus, some shit like that, right? It was they were introducing a lot. I do think really Scott kind of got a little too ahead of himself to a degree. Um, I think what you said too is that if we went kind of back to basics, or keep it kind of simple, like how Prey was, kind of like a tight script, one location, use a good mix of practical and CGI, not too much CGI. Use something really cool with that. I feel like. Okay, I'm asking you this too,
Yeah.
Joe. Go ahead.
Uh, the thing about like a lot of franchise movies is that they want to do what they want to do what John Wick does was expand, make it huge. John Wick succeeded where a lot of other movies can't, which was expand it more and more, make it larger, add more to it, and stuff like that. Where it's like that's not always needed. What like a small cast and a very tight script, like you said, can make a movie franchise so amazing. Like you don't need to add all these intricacies to it. I think you just sometimes need to add depth to the story, to the characters, what's happening, but not expand on to this insanity. Not You don't need to make it world or galaxy dominating. It can be this tight thing where it's like, holy shit, this thing exists, and that's terrifying already. A lot of people are paranoid about aliens and stuff like this, and like Warhammer has like Xenos like them, and they do that pretty well, but it's not the same as aliens. From the movie Aliens. So I think really it's just like adding more depth to it would make it so much more interesting. I don't want to see him talking, but
No.
If I hear fucking language, I'm fucking pissed. Like,
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear on that. Again, you're not a horror fan, but I'm gonna ask you this question: Have you? There's a reason I'm asking this question. Have you seen either Don't Breathe or the Evil Dead remake from 2013?
what have I seen? What?
Have you seen either these two movies? Have you seen a movie called Don't Breathe or Evil Dead 2013, the remake?
Yeah, I saw Evil Dead. I didn't see Don't Breathe, but I know of it. That's the blind one, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I know about it, but I never watched it.
The reason I ask you this, and I totally forgot about until you brought this up actually, about Alien. Fede Alvarez, who did those two movies, he's been I forgot about this. He's been working on another Alien movie himself. He's been doing it. It's called Alien Romulus. Yeah, Alien Romulus. It's all new characters. They're not bringing back anyone that we know of as of now. That could change. I think, yeah, Ridley Scott's producing it. He's not writing and directing it, which is interesting. With that said, do we all know who owns the rights to Alien right now? And Predator?
No.
Disney.
Called it.
Disney owns the rights to those franchises.
Fucking hate Disney.
With that said, which I will give them props for doing this, and I hope it's good. We'll see when it comes out, whatever. What worried me, because when they bought those franchises from Fox, they were like, their new home is Hulu. And I said, Hulu and fuck you. Because I'm like, whoa, you're gonna cut your biggest these franchises at your knees for a Hulu? And I was like, oh, sons of bitches. Because
Mm-mm.
with Prey, that was their biggest Hulu movie ever. And to be fair, I think it was because how badly the Predator 2018 movie was released, and we got shat on, including your boy right here, who
That
this
that that was some pretty hot garbage. Not gonna lie.
I've done it maybe once in my life, maybe in a screening. I'm with Malone, and me and Malone were like, "Do you want to stay?" And Malone was like, "Yeah, I guess." And I was like, "All right." And Collis had a Q&A. Adam Collis had a Q&A, I believe it or not, with an actress, of that Olivia Munn of that movie. As soon as the movie ended, me and Malone were like, "Get the fuck out of here, let's go home." It was a free screening through ASU, and I was like, "Wow." On a Tuesday afternoon, I spent 2 hours with this shit. I was like, I wanted my money back from a free movie. I'm like, I wasted 2 hours
Damn.
of my fucking Tuesday on this shit. I'm like, y'all got some fucking nerve. Um, but however, why I'm saying this is apparently Disney likes the movie enough where they're giving it a theatrical release instead.
Hmm.
So that to me, despite them owning the rights to this franchise, that kind of boosts some confidence. I don't know. Do you guys agree that it kind of boosts some confidence that like they're they like what they see? So they're getting it was supposed to be a Hulu exclusive movie only. Hulu only, no day and day release. Hulu only. This summer they announced that no, there's gonna be a wide theatrical release
Of Prey?
of the new Alien movie
Oh, the Alien movie.
by Fede Alvarez. That's promising. I feel like.
I'm with it, honestly. Because you know how I feel about the whole theatrical
Yeah.
experience, and it's like it's mwah, chef's kiss. You feel me? Like I'm with it. It sounds good to me. I'm all for it.
Let's see who they got. So again, they got also too. They got a bunch of unknowns, which is very smart.
Hmm.
The only girl that I recognize is she played Dora in the last Dora movie.
That wasn't she in Transformers too?
Oh
The
fuck, she was right. Oh my
the
god.
live action Dora with Michael
Fuck.
Pena.
You're so yeah. She was in Transformers 5. Oh my god. I don't blame her, but fuck, that movie was so bad. Yeah, she
Oh
was.
wait, isn't that Hot Girl? Isn't she gonna be Hot Girl in Superman Legacy?
You're fucking right too, Nick. That's right.
Okay, wow, it's all coming back to me.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Damn, bro.
Okay, I'm
This
with
man's
that.
in
I'm
the
with that.
loop. All right. So yeah, I like that. Okay. So you got a bunch of new young talent. I like that. So all right. Well. Anyway, that's why I brought up Joe because you brought up Alien, and they're gonna do another reboot. Let's see how this works. I'm very curious to see how this one plays out.
Mm-hmm.
I think among all of us, but it's a very good answer. I like that one a lot. Moses, my friend, is there any franchise that you love or very fond of that you can see that needs a reboot or a requel?
Um. Twilight. No, I'm kidding. No.
You just made Zeta very happy. She was like, yes.
McSqueeze me.
She would have been like, yes.
No.
Let's never bring that back.
Moses, when you said Twilight, I was like, oh, I can't wait to hear this.
No, I'm just kidding. No. I mean, probably like I mean, maybe Pirates in the Caribbean, or even Fast.
Ooh.
Fast and Furious. Let's go back to the driving. And just
Nah, let that franchise die, bro. It's got to. You need to put that one to rest. You can't reboot that.
Maybe you're right.
If you
But
reboot it, they're just gonna be with chilling with the MCU characters, probably.
Oh, Jurassic World.
For real, bro.
Give it time. Give it time.
Riding cars on dinosaurs, flying to the moon. Talking about I don't need oxygen. I got family.
I got family in space. What?
About to see him walking on the stars and stuff.
Oh, yeah, they were close in Fast 9.
That was insane. I was like, what the hell?
But no, I mean, I mean, I don't really have any. Maybe like I don't know, like Lord of the Rings or something like that. I think that would be cool.
They tried that, remember, no one watched it on Amazon.
I kept trying to watch. I kept trying to watch it, man. Like it was solid, bro.
A movie,
okay,
a movie, yeah, okay, for sure.
Talking about the movie, like the franchise, like
Fair
the
enough.
movie and everything.
Fair
like
enough,
TV
fair enough.
shows, if you, yeah, it's all about movies.
Fair enough.
Like
You're right.
Hey Moses, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, bro. Because you had mentioned Pirates of the Caribbean earlier. What would you do with that? How would you reboot that?
Pirates in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't exactly. I'm trying to basically, finish the whole entire series now. I think I finished two of the part one and part two. That's not really what the title is called, but I finished the first one and the second one. I think 2 months ago and everything. I'm trying to make sure I finish the whole entire series, but I just think it can have a very sort of like like very very good in terms of like success and I think it can do really really good in terms of like story wise too as well because it's like maybe it's just me but it's like that's the only franchise that I see that to my mind that hasn't gotten like a reboot that I think might be good and doesn't have like 15 movies, being made or whatever. It has like four movies or 5 movies. However many.
Five, unfortunately.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
You got Fast and Furious that has like fucking 10, and then you got James Bond that has like 1,500. I don't know. You got so many of these other franchises that have so many, and you got Pirates of the Caribbean, that has 5. And if you reboot it now and bring in new talent with new stories and everything like that, and just make sure you just tell a very, very, very spectacle sort of like a film, and every very spectacle sort of like a story in that franchise that you're trying to create that is new and everything like that. People will definitely join in and definitely watch it. A person like me will definitely come in and definitely watch it and everything. Especially the whole entire world building is very very fun. For viewers and everything. So and that's the only I feel like for me that is the only franchise that people won't exactly I guess like maybe like hate so much because it's like if you talk about rebooting Star Wars the whole entire thing you're gonna have people come at you,
Yeah, about to be riots in the streets, man.
People are not really gonna be yeah, you're gonna be
in the Dark Knight Joker was like, and then everyone's gonna lose their minds.
No,
you could grab my lightsaber and start attacking people in Hollywood. Start pulling Anakin Skywalker.
Oh my god!
I've been waiting for this moment.
It's about to be the purge with lightsabers and Sith lords everywhere, man.
I'll tell you what, Moses. You can honestly, after 3, you can stop there. 4 and 5 are pretty damn bad. I'm not gonna front.
Are you guys better than 4? But yeah, like you low key like the first 3 again, chef's kiss. 4 was weak. 5 was better than 4. 4 was kind of like Iron Man 3 after Avengers to me, in my opinion, because I wasn't really fucking with it. It just felt like a very weak follow up.
Dude.
Or think about it like this: Infinity War followed up by Captain Marvel. That's kind of what
come on by like Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Marvel.
Oh my, Ant-Man and the Wasp! What a fucking shame.
Yeah.
Yo, can we never mind.
Well, what happened? What did you say?
No. I mean, I was gonna say, about the idea of getting to that topic whenever we get a chance to and everything of talking about like the creator and everything and everything whenever we have time. I know we're still talking about franchises right now, but get into that. I really want to know your guys' perspective a little bit on that film and everything, and like what's next for like new ideas, you know what I mean? I get it. It's like the strike is happening. It's like no promotion, none of that. All that stuff is happening, But it's like what's next for new ideas now? Because it's like
you're next, Moses. It's our turn now.
No. I mean, for real, because it's like, I don't understand. Do people not like new ideas? It's like, do we want to just continue on making franchises and everything like that? And because at the end of the day, the studios are gonna look at this and be like, okay, all right, we tried. We're not gonna do that again. It's all about focusing on franchises, making sure we got our money's worth, and go from there. They won't look at it as like it's just one movie. It's one bad movie, not bad movie. It's just one movie that didn't make a lot of money. I love The Creator. It was a fucking good movie. But you have some. I mean, of course, a lot of people watched it. So my whole thing is just like, what's next for studios to basically see this in terms of like, what are they gonna, you know, um, you know, how are they going to react? And, are we ever going to get any new ideas when it comes down to sci-fi films that are sci-fi stories that are brand new or, whatnot. But, I just wanted to get you guys' like topic on that. And I want to talk a little bit more about that, but whenever we get a chance.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Joe, what were you saying real quick?
I was going to expand on, Pirates of the Caribbean, like how I'd like to see them do it, which would be with Pirates of the Caribbean, they did really well in the beginning, but I felt like it eventually truly became like a Disney movie, you know what I mean? A little bit too much magic, I guess you could say. When with pirates, they have their history and they have their own very much lore to it. They have their like stories and everything. I think we should really truly take like actual like pirate stories, that they used to talk about and mix that into, Pirates of the Caribbean. Make it a little less Disney magic and a little more, realistic magic, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
something like that. That's just how I would do it.
I'd agree with that. And like I said to you, Moses, you can definitely. I mean, if you want to finish the franchise, I get it, but you're gonna see a dip in quality with 4 and 5. You really are. It's noticeable. Like I remember I was in 7th grade. I think we were in 7th grade when that 4th one came out, and I said, "What the fuck is this?" I said, "What in the hell is this?" But yeah, it's yeah. Now at 5, I was like, "Wow, they really are. They're reaching here." But I would definitely see it. I would definitely watch a reboot of that. But what's anyway? Before we hop to the next topic that you brought up, Moses, Nick, what's up with the franchise that you want to see rebooted?
A franchise I would want to see rebooted. I would say the Terminator franchise, and I would honestly make it like just kind of like bare bones. It's just a trilogy. The first one is basically the first story. It follows Sarah Connor. Kyle Reese pops up. The Terminator pops up. It's all of that, and then it skips forward, and it's kind of like it's kind of part 2 basically, and it's more or less the same story. But then the third one is kind of like Terminator Salvation, where it's in the future, but it would just focus on John Connor, and he wouldn't be like an up and coming like military guy. When like the film starts off, he's already the main kind of like messianic John Connor, and we just kind of follow him like fighting Terminators in the future, and fighting alongside Kyle Reese and da 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 da. And the movie pretty much ends at the beginning of the first movie where Kyle Reese goes back in time. So it's just a legit continuous loop. It literally ends where it began. So then it kind of creates this idea of an endless cycle that all of these characters are pretty much trapped in, whether they realize it or not. So we never see what happens to John Connor after Kyle Reese goes back in time or anything like that. Like that's literally it.
Yeah, back to basics. I think they'll go back to basics too, because I never watched. What was the last one came out? Dark Fate. Was that any good?
No. It was just kind of middle of the road for me. It was a little boring, to be honest. It was just like It really just felt like a repeat of what we've seen before, but just with new characters, but just doing the same shit. It was kind of like it didn't feel that special to me.
I never, I mean, I was going to watch it, and I think AC had a screening for it. I was gonna go, and I was like, oh, I'm good. I had no desire. I was like, yeah, I'm straight.
Man, you're not missing nothing. Respectfully.
And I met Tim Miller at a premiere one time in LA, who did that movie, who also did Deadpool. He was cool with me. Oh, hey man, congratulations again. But you can tell like he was like pissed of like how bad that movie performed. Like that movie performed really poorly, really poorly. And I was saying, hey man, fan of your work. He goes, all right, thanks. And he was kind of like, he was cool. He was like, oh whatever. But he's like, oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, but I was like, again, I didn't see Terminator, so I was kind of like, I was a fan of him from his stunt work in Deadpool. But I think he produced Sonic too, oddly enough. But yeah, I would like to go because you watch 1 and 2, even 3 to a degree. Like the first 2 really just are really good. Like it's it's Cameron doing Cameron. It's kind of just like back to basics. But yeah, I would like to do that too. Again, if I think Paramount owns the rights to that, so if Paramount does that, I think they can definitely do some justice with that. Hire young talent, hire someone new, some fresh take on that. For me, I would love to see a Kick-Ass reboot. I fucking loved Kick-Ass. I like 2 for what it is. 2 is fun.
Kick-Ass would be so cool. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Because I remember as a kid, I remember seeing the trailer for that movie during the first Avatar, and I was like, "Yo, what is this?" And I remember it came out like rated R, and my parents were like, "Yeah, you ain't seen this shit." And I was like, "Oh damn." But I know joking test for this. Like, everyone at our school saw that movie. Like I remember everyone was talking about that movie and that came out. And I was like, damn, I want to see this movie eventually. And my parents were like, nope, you're not seeing it. I remember people in our class, people in Joe's class, I think Joe saw it too. Like everyone saw Kick-Ass, and I was like the only kid at school who didn't see Kick-Ass, and I was like, it kind of sucks. But I remember renting it, because iTunes at the time didn't have any parental guidance. You can literally buy anything on iTunes with the iTunes gift card. So I bought it myself, and I was like, on my iPad Touch, I was like, yo, this movie fucking rules. And I was obsessed with this movie, dude. I had a huge crush on Chloe Grace Moretz at the time, but now I think she's kind of a jerk because she kind of did my friend dirty one time. Yeah, I love that movie so much because it was different. I was like, oh shit, I'm like, who's Matthew Vaughn? Because it was very like stylized action, but it was really in your face of like, oh, this is something new. This is fresh. And this is before like the MCU was kind of kicking off. This is before the DCU was kind of like really kicking off. It was kind of this like came out at this time of like, this is different, and it worked. And I still like 2 for what it is. It's fun, it's silly, it's goofy, but it's definitely a different movie than the first one for sure. So I would love someone to reboot it, either with Aaron Taylor Johnson and Chloe Grace Moretz, or new people playing Kick-Ass and Hit Girl. But if you can reboot it, like someone like a Matthew Vaughn, but it doesn't have to be him. Obviously, it has to be someone else like him. Bring it back. Bring it again. I think right now everyone's in this very kind of like slump of like the fatigue of Marvel and DC and superhero stuff. But if you can like bring it back, bring it to like a low budget like the first one was, and back to basics and bring something really cool to it. Cast the right people, make it gritty, make it funny. Excuse me, like do something different with it, because I know those comic books are really, there's a lot of lore to that comic books too. There's a lot of like story you can pull from those comic books, and also they're very dark comic books too. They're very dark, very gruesome stories. So I would definitely love to see a reboot of that. Like I said, with or without Aaron Taylor Johnson and Chloe Grace Moretz, I would love to someone kind of revitalize that franchise, because I feel like that movie, the first one especially, is very special, and it's very, very, it's close to perfect if you ask me. And I do feel like now, like think of like Chad Stahelski doing a Kick-Ass movie would be so cool. Oh my god, something like John Wick kind of violence with Kick-Ass. Oh, sign me the fuck up. I would love something like that. But again, right now it's, except for Deadpool, that's kind of about it. I mean, maybe The Suicide Squad and Birds of Prey. We don't get a lot of rated R superhero movies, unfortunately, because of Disney buying a lot of that properties, unfortunately. So I would love for someone, either it's Universal or Lionsgate or Netflix, whatever. I would ideally have a theatrical movie. Bring some new blood to Kick-Ass. for this generation. Make it R, make it gritty, make it like really kind of just like funny, but like don't take any, like take some punches, take some creative risks. I think if you had that franchise now, it could be something really special and very kind of like fresh again. It'd be really fresh again to this generation. So I would love for them to see to do a kick-ass reboot, 100%, 100%. But a boy can dream. But sorry, so Moses, you want to talk about original stories, right? Like the creator. I mean, what did you want to bring up? Like in detail, what do you want to talk about with that kind of story and that kind of detail?
Yeah. I mean, no, because it's like I want to go see the creator and everything like that. With a friend of mine, and you saw it, and we were blown away. We didn't exactly see it in IMAX, but we saw it in a in a premium, like I guess like screen of the theater and everything. It was pretty big, and it was great. And I did arrive in the theater, and there wasn't a lot of people in there, and I just sat down, and I overall enjoyed it. I had a great time. It gave me, the world building was very much like when they're in the ground and everything like that. If you guys seen the film, when they're in the ground, like running and all those kind of stuff, it gives me like Blade Runner, vibe a little bit, and it was great world building, and everything. And I saw it, and I was like, man, that's gorgeous, especially with the budget that they had and everything, and yeah, man, I just thought that was a really, really overall done film. And some of the things that they showed, I was like, I'd never seen that before in a film before, or in terms of, like, I never seen, somebody creating a scene like this or an idea like there's even a moment like this, So, and I just thought it was really, really, really cool, man. It was a really, really cool film. Might go check it out again. We'll see, but films like that is that I wish that there were more people interested in seeing creative ideas, because it's like, if for me as a filmmaker myself and everything like that, it's like if people are not interested in new ideas, there's no space for filmmakers like us to come in and bring out those new ideas and let people be interested in new ideas, I guess, especially when when people freak out just because one film didn't exactly have that number that the studios were looking for, and yeah, that's mainly it. I wanted to know is that, from your guys' opinion, what do you guys like think? Is it very much like this is just one little fluke when it comes down to the box office, and the studios are going to be like, okay, that's fine. The studio's going to be like, okay, it's fine. We made this film. It didn't exactly hit the numbers. We're going to try again with new ideas in the future. Is it going to be like that? Or do you guys think it's going to be like, oh shit. Okay, we tried. You know what? We're going to move on and continue on making our franchises and go from there and make our bank and keep rolling,
Well, my perspective on it is that I would like it if, they just decided to keep running with new and original and unique ideas and just, like trying new things. But one thing, I heard this a lot in college. I just kept hearing all these like stories about like writers and directors where like they make a movie, they put their heart and their soul into it, and they have these really creative stories, and then like a producer or the studio will come in and like, yeah, you know what, take this part out, or like, instead of doing it, instead of making it like a 2.5 hour movie, just shorten it down to like 90 minutes. And they do all these things to basically strip all the unique qualities of the movie down, just to make it like a basic movie. And then because of that, one thing I've noticed with a lot of these movies is they don't seem like stories anymore. They seem more like products, because it's like a lot of the same like tropes and a lot of the same content. Yes, exactly. Yeah, so it's kind of like there's a sameness, and it's like, bro, like I just Yeah, so it would be great if studios would have more faith in their filmmakers and just kind of let them uh like tell the stories that they want to tell the way that they want to tell them. But I'm a little, I guess, pessimistic, a little cynical. I don't feel like that's how it's always going to go. I feel like the majority of the time it is going to be content, Moses, like you said, unfortunately. But, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm interested in seeing, what basically, happens, after this film,
Mhm.
in terms of, uh, I guess like the box office, like numbers that, were shown and everything like that, I wasn't expecting, a horror film to like be like to basically, be the creator, opening weekend and everything like that. So, and people love the horror movies, I guess, and everything like that, But I just, I hope, I hope for the, for the best and everything like that, for just for new ideas, I guess,
Yeah.
I'm
Um,
surprised Paw Patrol won that weekend. I don't want to diss no Paw
oh,
Patrol. I
great.
mean, good for the kids. Good for the kids. But at the same time, I was looking at the box over the weekend. I was like, I was kind of nervous. I'm like, did I work on this movie? Because I was like, it was kind of like, I was so like precious about it. Like, oh, I love this movie. And I was looking at the box office. I was like, yo, how the fuck is Paw Patrol beating Saw and the creator?
Man, you know
And
how
I
many
was,
motherfuckers have kids nowadays?
you're right. You're
Man,
right.
the
You're right.
kids
You're
is,
right.
and let's talk about like, I feel like kid movies are doing better in movie theaters nowadays than when we were growing up, because kids nowadays, like
But
parents are parenting differently, if that makes
Hmm.
I don't think
sense.
that's true. Because it's like, they're definitely doing good, but like like a few years ago and everything like that. Like I think after 2019, like before 2019, that's when like kids movies were like doing really really well. Talking about Frozen and all these things, but now it's like you know um, they're not really like hitting those numbers as they used to or
Right.
whatever. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it's really really crazy. That's why Disney's doing all these, like they're bringing back like Inside Out Part Two. They're bringing back
Man,
like Toy Story and everything because of
you said
the
they set out part
numbers.
two?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dang,
yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
even
The
seen the first one
numbers
yet.
that because of
You
the
haven't
numbers
seen the
that Disney.
first one?
No, man,
What?
I just didn't care
You're
about
gonna
it at
cry like
all.
a bitch. Not
Neither
gonna lie, that made
have
me cry.
I.
Man, I ain't
Neither
never
have
cried.
I.
That's a fucking lie.
I have never cried in my life, bro. I came out the womb dead silent, man. I came out the womb with a poker face on.
I think you mean dead serious. You're not dead time.
Man,
I
shoot.
swear.
Dead.
Man, you
Not
better
They came
bring
out.
me a
Listen,
box of
in
cookies
elementary
if this
school,
movie
I
makes me
failed
cry.
recess. That's how much I don't play games.
What?
Shut up.
Shut
They
up.
came out the womb like the snapping from like West Side Story, the the snapping.
Man, I came out the womb stone faced and shadow boxing, bro.
Yeah.
He came out the womb
I'll be
like
in Creed 4.
he came out the womb like
Damn.
Mambo from Happy Feet, just dancing everywhere.
Hell no, bro. Okay, wait, hold up. It's funny you brought that up because we brought up Happy Feet last week's episode.
Oh
Damn.
man.
Um, I want to. You know what, Moses? Yeah, I've been very vocal about this a lot about original filmmaking. In my out of theater reaction too, I was like, please see this movie, please see this movie, please see this movie. I was telling everyone I knew over the weekend, like, see this movie, please, 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 because I feel like if you don't support original filmmaking, we're not gonna get any of these ever again.
That's
And
what,
what?
that's what I'm saying. It's like ever again. And I want
Never again, dude.
it's like I get it, bring out the Star Wars, bring out the Marvel films, bring out all that. But at least make sure we got room for originality,
Yeah,
because what? Sorry.
yeah. No, sorry, I was agreeing with you. Yeah.
Yeah, like leave room for originality because overall, that's gonna push the industry forward.
Yeah.
You can only make Star Wars 100 times. Maybe you can do it. Maybe you can do it more, but it will get to the point where people are gonna run out of air, and when people run out of air, you know, they're going to not want to come back to the theater ever again. And you know, I just want to make sure that, you know, like in the future, as we head towards, you know, the future and everything like that, is to make sure we got room for these films, you know. You know, there are good, you know, that are under like $100 million in terms of like budget or whatever, you know, and this movie made me realize that you can do any movie, any film, any huge film with that kind of budget. You know, you can do a Star Wars movie with this kind of budget. You can do a Marvel movie with this kind of budget or whatever. You know, like you can really do it. I get it. The stars might want a lot of money or whatever it is, but you can still do it with that kind of budget and everything like that. And but yeah, I just hope we have, you know, room for, you know, new storytelling so that we can you know, improve you know, the qualities of our film and feature for our children to see, man. Not kidding, but
well,
yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, I told this to Nick on Tuesday at the screening. I said, what really, I think this, I've been very vocal about this since day one. What I really think kind of fucked up the industry a little bit was when Disney bought Fox. And here's why I'll say this. When Disney bought Fox, not only did they buy everything, Disney was not interested in making those low budget movies, those lower to low budget, you know, mediocre movies. People can blame superhero movies all you want, sure, or Star Wars movies all you want, fine, you can. At the same time, what happened was, yes, the rise of streaming was a huge factor in this, absolutely, and COVID as well. COVID was a big part of this reason. With that said, we need competition between studios. We need Paramount to go against Warner Brothers against Universal against Sony versus A24, Sony versus Disney. When they bought Fox, they're competing with themselves. And what we need I miss the days where you go to a theater, you can see 5 new movies that weekend if you wanted to, all from different studios, from a Paramount, Lionsgate, Sony, A24, whatever. Focus Features, whatever, Fox Searchlight. Those days are now gone because everyone's buying each other. Everyone's buying their competition. And to me, I just don't understand the logic. Because you had the money to buy that doesn't mean you should. And we need competition in order for these movies to do well. That, hey, you know what? That's why I think an example of like Oppenheimer and Barbie was you had 2 competing studios have really 2 huge opening movies that had really long legs for their movies. Disney wants to buy everybody to, you know, end their competition. At the same time, you're hurting your own movies because you don't believe in these movies, i.e. Barbarian, i.e. probably the creator, because when they don't do well, you go, nope, this is why we have Hulu. I don't want to see the creator on Hulu. I don't want to see Barbarian on Hulu. I don't want to see these movies on Hulu. I don't. Because you're taking away, like you said, Moses, the chance for people to be recognized on the big screen. I want to see people's vision, good or bad. It's an original movie. I will always give people credit for this, for original storytelling on the big screen. I don't care what the genre it is. I don't care what movie it is. I don't care what it is. I want to see the original movie on the big screen. And these studios are not taking chances anymore, given that, yes, COVID had a big effect on the industry. I get that. But there's no more, there's a risk to reward, where if you risk it, you might be rewarded. None of our favorite filmmakers would have been rewarded. I.e. Jordan Peele, Get Out. I.e. Ryan Coogler, Fruitvale Station. You know, Greta Gerwig, Lady Bird. Safdie Brothers. Uncut Gems, Good Time. You know, these filmmakers would have not gotten Antoine Fuqua, Training Day. You know, Chris Nolan, Memento. If those movies went right to DVD or streaming, there would be some word about it for me. A week, done. When a movie has legs like this, on a box office and a word of mouth, it gets more buzz. And you're right, Moses. I was talking to somebody in LA when I was living out there for my internship. Someone also in London too. Someone said, "Hey, what? the guy was talking to was like, you know what, you youth are what we're gonna see on the big screen. And I was like, damn, that kind of stuck with me. I was like, yeah, one day I'll be awesome. But now it's just like we're seeing a lot of copy and paste. I'm not calling out any kind of genre, but I feel like those really good movies that you mentioned, Moses, the ones that are like young filmmakers like ourselves, they're being saying, hey man, sorry, your new life is on HBO Max, your new life is on Netflix, your new life is on Hulu. And it's like, man, as a filmmaker, I feel like I'm kind of being slighted because you're not giving me the same chance to have my movie on the big screen because you're too worried or you're too concerned for your because you're more invested in your franchise movie than your actual, I don't know, new story. And like I said, I'm really curious to see how Disney reacts to the creator. For some reason, it breaks my heart. I truly think they're gonna be like Barbarian. They're gonna see a failure on their hands and be like, this is why we don't make original movies, and let's buy Sony tomorrow. It's just like you're really cutting your own legs for what? And I still don't get how. I mean, I heard a writer speak the other day on a podcast during the strike. He was saying the government should never have allowed that purchase of Disney and Fox. I'm like, amen, brother, fucking man, because I'm like, that just took away competition. And when Fox had Fox 2000 pictures, like stuff like oh my gosh, The Hate You Give, or Maze Runner, or Paper Towns, or other shit too. A lot of Sean, like Internship, a lot of Sean Levy movies. Like those were something that like still made money, despite what happened, still made money. And we truly now live in an era now of, hey, sorry, those movies don't exist anymore. You want to see them? You can watch them on Netflix. And with the rise of subscription prices, people are now leaving streaming because they can't afford to pay these absurd prices. So it's sad to see. It's sad to see. I don't know. I don't know. I really do hope. I hope that people. I really hope people take risks on original storytelling. And I hope that the creator didn't do well in theaters. I hope it has good word of mouth or long legs that people wanted to see it.
Yeah,
because I agree, man. It's beautifully made, a lot of emotion. It's a remarkable piece of cinema that I feel like Disney had no confidence in. I truly feel that. I truly feel that from the bottom of my heart, and I really, really, really don't. I hope there's no pattern from this. That this is what happens. Sorry, it is what it is. So I know that's my take on it personally. It's a shame if you ask me.
We'll see what happens. Yeah.
I know, Joe. Joe, what's your thoughts on this?
I was listening, y'all, and I got so what was the question again?
No, it's about the state of original filmmaking. Like, why aren't these movies hitting the way they are? Like, why do you think audiences are not connecting with them as much anymore? And do you think that going forward, because if this movie didn't do well, we're gonna see less original movies, or think that there'll still be some kind of risk to see original movies on the big screen, or is it gonna be streaming exclusively?
I think the companies are going to fight for streaming exclusively, which is a big risk. But I think fans like us and our listeners and a lot of movie lovers out there will continue to fight for movie theaters to stay open. But I think like drive-through movies, there is a possibility that movie theaters will become very rare like that. Like there's not a lot of drive-through movies, and especially like places like Chicago. So there is a possibility that can happen. My thoughts on the state of movies, the originality and everything is it's a complicated one. I feel like, because nowadays there's so many opinions and thoughts going on, and we continuously talk about, like, we see these original movies, but they get no views even with like a lot of advertisement. There's a lot of original movies that don't get seen, and that's always hard to like break it down to a few things that might um factor in why that may be, because it can either be around the time it was released or people just have no interest in the creative way the movie is. Maybe they see an actor in there they really have no care for it, and so on and so forth. It's very difficult to pinpoint it all. What I do know is that right now movies are having a difficult time, whether they're original or not. I think what the movie industry needs to focus on is not the best way for them to make money, but the best way to reinstill faith in the audience. Make people want to go back to movie theaters, because going to movie theaters when we were growing up, you can remember it was an event. Your family's like, all right, we're going to movies. Like, sometimes it was just like the same day, but other times it was your family planned it out because your family loved movies, you loved movies, you wanted to go see movies. I feel like with all the content that's out and everything that's been going on, I feel like people nowadays have lost faith in the industry, even with streaming. So I think that's really what we need to focus on. And then eventually, maybe creative movies that are very original will get the love that they deserve again. That's just my thoughts on it.
No, I mean, I like the saying that you said and everything like that, which is, going back and having, faith, of course, in your filmmakers, in terms of the studios having faith in the filmmakers, but also in the audience, that the audience will go and see that new film that comes out. Just have faith. Maybe it doesn't work for this movie, but have faith that it might work for the next.
Right.
Have faith in your audience, and have faith in the moviegoer, and yeah, so on and so forth. So I like that comment that you said. That's good.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I feel like the days of, remember, like back in the day before we had like Fandango and stuff too. Before assigned seating was a thing where go to a movie, something sold out. Like, oh, that one sold out. I'll go see this instead. Like, because there was options. And yeah, I think that there was a lot of options this summer in terms of what you can see, what you can watch. But what you brought up too about animation, Moses, too, is very interesting, because here's why. The animation movies that Disney's been putting out, like you said, before COVID, they're making so much money, making billions, $500 million, so much money, money. Now,
you know why? Streaming.
Yes, exactly.
But don't forget that anime movies as well garner a lot of audience, especially when they play in theaters. Like the Dragon Ball Super movie, that got a lot of people going, and that gained, the fandoms. I think that's also important. That anime has grown so much out of a majority of things.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a really good point. But on that note, fellas, I apologize. I got to head out.
No, it's
bath time.
We can, I think we're at time. I think we can end it on here. I think this was a very action-packed episode. I think this was full reviews. This was a fun one. But I'm gonna let the honors be Joe. Joe, how do we end the show, my friend?
How do we end the show? Well, we do this thing called one-on-ones, where each of us will recommend a movie and a show for you guys to hopefully just put on your movie watch list. Even if you don't watch it now or tomorrow or next week, or anytime soon. Just hopefully one day you'll be scrolling through your list and you'll eventually watch it. Since it's Nick's bedtime, he gotta get that warm milk ready, and his teddy bear's lonely in bed.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
gonna let
don't forget
Nick
the
go
bubble bath.
first.
Don't forget the bubble bath and the scented candles with the smooth jazz playing in the background.
My God.
Yes, indeed.
All right,
But
Nick.
so for my one-on-one, my one-on-one for the TV show recommendation, I'm gonna recommend HBO Max's My Adventures with Superman. It is a fresh, new retelling of the Superman mythos. It's his first days at the Daily Planet. Like he first meets Lois Lane, and he and Jimmy Olsen are roommates, and it goes through the Superman mythology, but in a unique way. Like it's very familiar, but there's a lot of twists and turns that you really wouldn't expect, but it still feels true to the essence of the character, and it's got this overall kind of like anime feel to it, which is interesting. So if you like Superman and if you like anime, then check out My Adventures with Superman. And let's see, for my movie, I'm gonna go with Jumper with Hayden Christensen and Samuel L. Jackson. This
Good one.
movie was I think my cousin Trey, he showed it to me, and it's about this guy played by Hayden Christensen, and he finds out that he has this ability to teleport, or as they say in the movie, quote unquote, jump. And so he kind of just lays low, and he lives kind of like a slacker life a little bit, like kind of abusing and misusing his teleportation abilities. And then one day Sam Jackson comes through, and you find out he hunts people that can teleport. So the movie kind of becomes a like a cat and mouse game, because you got Samuel L. Jackson chasing a teleporting Hayden Christensen, and it's a really fun movie, so I'd recommend it.
Slept on. Movie is slept on.
It sure is, bro. It sure is.
Mm-mm-mm.
Oh, for sure. All right. Well, Nick, we're gonna let you dip out so you can get ready for bed, because we know you gotta wake up early. So
Yes, sir.
deuces. Thank you for always putting your input in. We cherish everyone's thoughts, all our co-hosts and our viewers as well. So have a good night.
Where can they find you? Where can they find you real quick?
You can find me on YouTube at Dawning Vision. That's capital D and a capital V, and on Instagram at Dawning Vision, all lowercase, all one word. And you can find me anywhere that they have podcasts. So definitely check it out. And yeah, this has been great. You guys, great. Almost said seeing you guys. Great talking to you guys. Moses, great hearing from you, man. It's been a minute. But yeah, I'm about to head out. Love you guys, man. Peace and love. Deuces.
Love you, brother. Have a
Peace.
good weekend, man. All right. Joe, you want to go? Or should me and Moses go?
Yeah, y'all can go. Whoever would like to go first. Moses, how about you?
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, so the movie that I would like people to go check out, the creator, go check out that damn movie. No, I'm just kidding, but go check it out. If you got a chance, that it's your local theater. But yeah, to go check it out to near your theater and everything like that. It's a fun movie. It's a whirlwind, and it takes you, to a world that you have not seen before in any other film in terms of sci-fi. So, yeah. And TV show, I've been currently watching Gen Z, the boys, Gen V, as I would say.
Ooh, is it good?
Yeah, it's fun. It's very fun. It's very little dark. It's very, as people are saying, is what it's what the New Mutants was trying to be. You know, you know, just imagine New Mutants. That's what this show is, but better. I think maybe just different. But yeah, go check it out. Yeah, go check out the creator. You got a chance, please. Thank you.
Please do. Please do. God, it's like that and Blade Runner 2049 breaks my heart. Those two movies I dearly love. Both flopped. It's like a big heartbreak at the theater. Oh,
Yeah.
man. To this day, man,
Yeah.
I'm always feeling.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram, Moses Lawi, you know, and you can find, all my work on my Instagram page mostly. And, you can find me on IMDb, where also most of my work are there too as well. And, that's pretty much it, I haven't got my website going yet, but when I do, I'll make sure to share that with y'all too as well. But it's great being here. It's great talking, and till next time.
All right, we love you, brother. Congrats again, man, on your great premiere last night, man. We're very proud of you,
man.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys soon.
See you, brother. Have a good weekend,
soon, bro.
You too. Peace.
Deuces. All right, Dougie Fresh. Your turn.
Oh man, the honor is mine. Thank you, my good sir. Dude, I've been really going through a lot this week of like what I can go put on my one-on-one. It's been kind of I don't know, going the route. I'm gonna go with this movie. I think it's movie's still very slept on years later. And whatever you feel about the police force, I get it. But this movie is called End of Watch, and it's a beautiful. No, it's because the cop movie has been done so many times, and it's been done, and it's obviously it's been kind of it's been really just like it's been done so many times. It's been done so many times. It's been just like overdone here and there. It's oh man, yeah, like I said, genre that has been kind of just like dying for a long time. I think since the 80s, like Lethal Weapon and stuff like that, and 48 Hours. End of Watch is a documentary styled kind of movie directed by David Ayer, who did Fury, Suicide Squad, Bright, Harsh Times, Street Kings, and he also wrote the first Fast and Furious, as well as Training Day. So, who I've been very vocal about how I'm a big fan of his work. This movie follows two cops played by Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena, but they're two cops in the toughest precinct in Los Angeles, and it follows them basically as two cops. Jake Gyllenhaal's kind of filming this as kind of like he's in the movie, he's kind of like a filmmaking class at community college. So, cop by day, solo doing community classes at night, and this movie kind of follows their brotherhood and what they go through as cops in LAPD, which LAPD is also one of the most, it's one of the most toughest police forces, as well as a history of a lot of violence. So these two guys are just kind of just like day in their life, and this movie really shows the brotherhood because, yeah, David Ayer's script is really good, but it's really Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena's performance and their chemistry together works. It's electrifying because they have great chemistry with each other. They're brothers. They're brothers no matter what, with a badge, without the badges, and they feel so real. The movie feels so real as a document, as some kind of found footage style. But like, you really, really believe their friendship and their brotherhood, and they're willing to take a bullet for each other. And I just love this movie so much because the performances. But David Ayer captures, David Ayer's from LA as well. He's from the streets, and which is kind of a lot of his movies. But it really shows how his brotherhood between these two guys, what they would do for each other. They would do anything for each other. They're doing to, just to stay alive. And I love this movie so much. Like I said, you really watch it for their chemistry, and it's funny too. It's really funny at times too because they'll be cracking jokes when they're in the car, stuff like that. It's really funny. I don't know. I just love this movie so much. I think it's probably David Ayer's best movie personally. I mean, I love Fury, but End of Watch is really fucking good. I just love Michael Pena so much as an actor. I love Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor a lot. And great soundtrack too. But and no spoilers, but the ending, I'm not gonna lie, it makes me weep up every time too. Like, it really does. Again, without spoiling anything, I can watch it, whatever, watch that part, the ending, I tear up because it's like it hits the feels every time. So End of Watch, I love that movie so much. Like I said, even though the cop drama has been kind of just like been run into the ground and done so many different times, this movie kind of it's got the outlier in that genre. So I love it. So my TV show of the week, tough. I know. You know what? I got one. I just finished actually for the first time. Believe it or not, I've seen parts of it, obviously, in high school, middle school. My dad loves this show. The reason why I love Gambino so much is Community. Community to me from seasons 1 to 5 really is something special. It's a really great ensemble
I
piece.
I love Community. I love every
It's so
season.
good, dude.
Even
The last
what's so crazy though is if you guys don't know, Chevy Chase is in the fucking show,
one,
and
yeah.
his character's nuts. But like, if you ever look up like Donald Glover talking about the show, he'll tell you how fucking horrible Chevy Chase is.
Oh yeah,
Like,
any of
he's
the cast
racist
members.
as shit. Yeah, and other cast members. Like he is a horrible, horrible, just just what's the word? Just a person you don't want to be around. You know what I
No,
mean? Where
he's an
he's just
asshole.
difficult. He's a dick. He's racist and
Yeah.
he's a dick. He's a sexist as well. But his character is really well written. You'll love him to an extent, you know. And then I just love Community. It's such a great show. I've been seeing the clip where Troy sneezes, and what's his name? Joel's character goes, "Hey, look." Troy sneezes like a girl, and I'll pound you like a boy. That didn't come out right.
It's so good, dude. It's so funny. Or I love Troy and Abed in the morning. It's a very special show, and yeah, despite Chevy Chase being fucking homophobic, everything, anti racist, it somehow works into the story. And I'm not. It's I mean, all of them don't condone Chevy Chase what he did, but like he plays the character a little too well.
He really does.
It does, but it still works because they're not saying that's okay. The show literally says like you're an asshole. What you're doing is wrong. What you're saying is fucked up. Like the show acknowledges it every time he's out of line or out of pocket, and it works. And the show works. Everyone from Joe McHale, Allison Brie, Danny Pudi, Yvette Nicole Brown, Jillian Jacobs, Charles Gambino, Donald Glover. Everyone works. The dean is hilarious, and also Chang by Ken Jeong is hilarious too. It's a show that will put you a smile on your face every episode. Season 6 isn't good as season 5. The last season isn't good as those seasons, but it still puts a smile on your face regardless. But yeah, great show. Also, it started the careers of the Russo brothers, who gave us Infinity War, Endgame, Civil War, Winter Soldier. So just talented filmmakers. But yeah, those are my of the week. So off to you, my friend.
I don't have a movie because I have not been watching movies. I've been watching shows. And one of the shows I've been watching, I know a lot of people have been watching it so faithfully. But the way I'm going to recommend this show is nerdy. Which is, I've been watching Ahsoka. Fucking the show, the season finale came out last week. So season 1's all done. 8 episodes. Such a great cast, such a great writing. So good. But I feel like a lot of people are watching it and not understanding a lot of the fucking references or some of the new characters that aren't truly new into the Star Wars universe. So how I'm going to recommend this is I want you guys to watch Clone Wars so you can understand the backstory of Ahsoka. You know what I mean? People know of Ahsoka, but I feel like they don't know Ahsoka truly. So if you want to know like her as a Padawan with Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan and how she became who she is, Clone Wars. And then for all the other characters such as Sabine and Hera and Chopper and stuff, watch Rebels because that tells you a story of everything. Ahsoka's also in there as well, so you can see how everything goes. And then watch Ahsoka, so you can find call back to the animated shows. Yes, they're kid shows, but they're so well written, and the animation's great, the story's good, and there is like war undertones because Clone Wars, they really don't hold back. You're not gonna hear cursing, but you're gonna truly enjoy the stories and the characters, and understand why people got excited to see the clone trooper Rex. All right, because I was fucking so excited. I guess I was like, anyways. So yeah, so watch those three, and then another show that I've been watching is of a British man we all love and know, Gordon Ramsay. He brought back Kitchen Nightmares, which I truly love. I faithfully watched that growing up, dude. Kitchen Nightmares is Gordon Ramsay going around America to some of the shittiest fucking restaurants that somehow are still open and are very much in debt. And basically, does a better version of Bar Rescue. Makes it very enjoyable to watch. Yes, he's screaming, but he's not always screaming, and he gives them tips, and he tries to rescue these restaurants. Obviously they're dramatized, whatever. I really don't care. I truly enjoy that. So, he brought back the show after, ending the show for quite a few years. So it's back. It's on Hulu. Go and watch it and give Gordon Ramsay the love he deserves. That's my one-on-ones.
What are you, an idiot sandwich?
Exactly. You fucking muppet.
What fucking muppet?
Oh, you stupid cow.
It's so out of line, but you can't stop to watch. It's literally something like it grabs you in, and it definitely you're in it. Once you watch it, you're in it.
Gordon Ramsay is the only man in existence to call someone a cow and not get canceled.
Right? You know what? Very true. Very true, actually. That's some shit.
He's the only British person I trust with food.
Ain't that some shit, man? That's some shit too. Trust me. Being in London, no offense, there's some food I was like, I think I'm good. Next time.
Isn't there like national food, like best food, like what was it? What was it, Indian or French? I think it was French. Yeah.
They got a lot of Indian food. We went to a lot of food. We went to a lot of Indian foods, a lot of curry places in London during my time there. But the best foods were always not the restaurants. It was always at like the street markets. It was like the best place to get food. Never wanted to get food.
I was gonna say a joke, but I don't want to offend anyone, so I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Smart man.
If you know the jokes about the museums, then you know where I was headed. Anyways,
bring us home, my friend. Bring us home.
Canceled. Let's close out.
Bring us home.
You can find Doug on Midway Avenue Production on Instagram. Also, the Young Jones, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the Young Jones. For his personal Instagram. And please don't be afraid to comment. If you are listening and you don't follow us on one of the streaming podcast things, please do, and like and share. We're trying to grow and we want more of you guys, and please do not be scared to talk to us in the comments. We would love to have a discourse with you as the show goes on. You can find me on Twitch at the OG Cuban Rican, and you can find all our links on our link tree on our Instagram. I have been playing recently. I streamed for like 10 hours today because Dark Tide Warhammer is finally fucking on Xbox, and I was playing with my homie, so alright. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this verbal journey through our opinions, views, thoughts, and mad ramblings of our love and passion for movies and TV and the entertainment industry as a whole. We truly do enjoy doing this every week. So, yes, thank you so much. Have a good night, day, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is. And please do stay safe. We love you guys. Have a good one.